I had this vision in my mind of how I wanted to make an entrance this morning. And it was this. I rode in on a motorcycle in black leather, mirror sunglasses, and a do-rag on my head. That was my vision. As you can see, that did not happen for two reasons. Reason number one, I don't have a motorcycle. I don't have leathers. I don't have mirrored sunglasses, and I do not have a do-rag. The other thing is I decided that talking about being a badass in service was enough, and you didn't need, if I came in with all that, it might just send some people anyway over the edge and running out the room. So let's take it in increments. Let's take it in increments. I did, however, wear jeans for the first time ever. And got a leopard print going on here, so I'm working my way to badassness. And I'll tell you, this whole theme, this whole deal is really giving my button-down, prim and proper girl a run for her money. And I'm having a lot of fun with it, actually. So we're pushing the edge this month. I figured, so here's the deal. I figured it's like crazy hot outside. I was gone last week before last, and I missed the 116. I'm so happy. I was in Denver, where it was raining and cool. It was gorgeous, so I missed the 116. But 110, 116, there's not really that much difference. So it's really hot out there. I figured we should heat it up in here a bit as well by pushing the edge of our comfort zone. And that's what I want us to do this month. I want to push the edge of our comfort zone. And nothing pushes the edge for some of us is to throw in a curse word now and again. So, although I've been told that badass has just become a term, it's not even, a bad term anymore, it's just a term. But nonetheless, we're going to say it a couple of times. Who knows what else might come out of my mouth? We will. I don't know. I don't know. But just think for a moment, what might the possibilities be in your life if you pushed the edge of the comfort zone a little bit more? What might your life look like if you took the handbrake off how you believe about yourself? What might you experience in your life if you realized and fully lived into the over-the-moon, amazing talents and abilities that you were given by the divine? What could life look like? Now, maybe some of you are like, I have no idea because I've never done that. I'm afraid to do that, so I don't know the answer to that question. Others of you may say, well, I've tried that. Didn't work. No. Meaning didn't work means didn't go like I had expected it to, right? Anybody ever done that one? You did push the boundary a bit. You did step into your talent. You did take the handbrake off and crashed and burned. Oh, good. 3 people will admit it, and the rest of you are liars. You're just liars. We've all done it. We've all done it. I love the comment that you've got to go out on a limb because at the end, that's where the fruit is. But sometimes the limb cracks before you get the fruit. We've all had that happen. But the person who really lives their badass life is the one who says, well, maybe that branch did crack. But you know what? There's a whole bunch more branches. Maybe that didn't work that time. But I'm a different person today, and I'm going to go for it again. That is what I'm hoping, praying, and intending to inspire in all of us this month. That we take off the handbrake, we let it go, we push out the edges of our comfort zone even more, and we get a glimpse, maybe even more of a glimpse, of our over-the-moon abilities and talents and live our badass selves. You wanted to sing with that, didn't you? You did. Well, maybe that should be our congregational song for this month. Born to be Wild as our congregational song. Oh my golly. Okay, songwriters out there, who can add some kind of different lyrics to it maybe, right? You can. You could. Or that too. All right, we'll have a conversation about that. I don't know. All right. All right, so this month has been inspired by this book right here, which is entitled, You Are a Badass. How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. Jen Sincero is the author of this book, and I have to admit, I got this book years ago. Mark Elliott, who a beautiful member of our community, worked in our office for a couple of years, has since moved back home to, where does he live? Iowa? Illinois. He lived back home in Illinois. He sends me pictures of green all the time. It's amazing. Anyway, Mark gave me that book, and I read the title and went, oh, that's fun. I'll read that someday soon. And then, you know, the pile. Who has the pile? Yeah, I have a whole shelf. I have a whole shelf in my office at home that says books to be read, and I can't fit one more book on it, and they're piled all over. Anyway, he gave it to me. I put it there, didn't read it, and then about a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, a friend of mine said, I'm reading this great book. She said, it doesn't have anything new in it, but it's just so great. I love the way the author words things, and she's got an attitude. She's sassy. Matter of fact, she's quite irreverent. And the book is called You're a Badass at Making Money. And I went, I think I have a companion book to that. So I've been reading both of them, and they're great books. And I know we have at least this one in our bookstore. We are going to get the other one as well. And just so you know, it has some adult language in it. So just be prepared if you're going to get the books. I may not use all the adult language up here that is in the book. I may edit a few of her quotes. So when I put this theme out for the month, I always send it to the key players, including Reverend Christopher, who's not here. He's heading off to Brazil. But I always send it to him just so he's in the know of where we're going to go. And he sent me back an email. He actually said, are you going to ride in on a motorcycle? That gave me the idea. But also, he sent me some information that he receives about the new month and, from a numerological perspective, what the month is all about. And I thought, how perfect, and I had no idea. I don't study numerology. I find it fascinating, but I'm not a follower of it. And he sent me this, and I wanted to share a few things because it just sets the tone so perfectly in the month that we're in, the 8th month of the year. So the 8th month, according to this website that Reverend Christopher sent me, the 8th month brings brilliant new opportunities, and we must allow ourselves to shift toward a new vision for our place in the world. The number 8 embodies the themes of fearlessness, vitality, healing, and enterprise. It's all about courage right now and not holding back because of fear from the past. Is this perfect? Or I had no idea. I did know, but I didn't know. You know how that goes? Part of this month's cycle may bring challenges with authority. And I love this part. It sets us up perfectly for what we're going to talk about today, particularly the internal authority figures, the voice of mom or dad that said, you can't do that, you don't have what it takes, you'll never be enough, blah, 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 blah. The website said, these crippling internal dialogues can haunt us for decades, and part of the healing energy of August is to finally let them go. Wow. So that's what we're going to do this month. You could give a hand for that. Yep. Today specifically, we're going to talk about taking the handbrakes off of our history. In other words, letting go, letting whatever might have held us back, whether it's something that happened to us when we were 5 months old or 5 days ago, letting go of it so that the handbrake to our being our magnificent badass selves is no longer there. So I want to begin this with a quote from page 20 of this book. It's a bit long, but it's just really beautiful. She writes, "When you came screaming onto this planet, you were truly a bundle of joy, a wide-eyed creature incapable of doing anything but being in the moment. You had no idea that you had a body, let alone that you should be ashamed of it. When you looked around, everything just was. There was nothing about your world that was scary or too expensive or so last year as far as you were concerned. If something came near your mouth, you stuck it in. If it came near your hand, you grabbed it. You were simply a human being." Italicized word. You were simply a human being. While you explored and expanded into your new world, you also received messages from the people around you about the way things are. From the moment you could take it in, they started filling you up with a lifetime's worth of beliefs, many of which have nothing to do with you actually, who you actually are, or what is necessarily true. For example, the world is a dangerous place. You're too fat. Homosexuality is a curse. Hair shouldn't grow there. I'm going to leave one out. You can look it up if you want. Going to college is important. Being a musician or artist isn't a real career, etc., etc. Sorry, guys, I apologize for that. The main source of this information was, of course, your parents, assisted by society at large. When they were raising you, your parents, in a genuine effort to protect you and educate you and love you with all their hearts, hopefully, passed on the beliefs they learned from their parents, who learned them from their parents, who learned them from their parents. The trouble is, many of these beliefs have nothing to do with who they actually are or were, or what is actually true. Please read that last one. Or what is actually true. I realize I'm making it sound like we're all crazy, but that's because we kind of are. And I love that. That's because we kind of are. So most of us, dare I say all of us, grew up learning and then believing a lot of things that just weren't true. They weren't true about life. They weren't true about us. And many of us today are still living in the illusion of some of those old beliefs. Do you know someone living in illusions of old beliefs? Do you know someone? Good, good, right. And if that someone happens to be sitting inside your own skin, you don't have to say. But today, it's time. Today, now, this moment in the history of the world and the history of our lives, it's time to unshackle those beliefs, to let go of those illusions, to take the handbrakes off from our history. So I say yes to that so that our own brilliance can shine. So I want to explore this morning 3 aspects of who we are. And I want to talk about them for a bit. I'm going to get some input from you. So, okay, this is congregant participation day. I do like to do that. You know, I don't want you just to sit there and make your grocery list in your brain. So I figured if you know I'm going to be asking you something, you're going to pay better attention. That's the method to my madness there. But more importantly than that, I want us to have an experience of at least 2 of the 3 aspects of ourselves, because one of the aspects actually has the handbrake on. So those 3 aspects are, and I want you first of all to tell me which one is the one with the handbrakes, and this is not rocket science, so I expect the answer from all of you. So the 3 aspects of ourself that I want us to look at today are, and don't give me the answer until I say all of them, the false self, the infinite self, and the authentic self. Which one has the handbrakes on? Okay, good. Most of you were pretty sure about that. Good. I'm glad. False self, infinite self, authentic self. False self first. Yeah, that is the one that has the handbrake. See, that's what we're hearing. It's where all that historical nonsense resides. It's where our limiting beliefs live. It's where we judge. And as I'm saying this, I want you to be feeling into, oh yeah, I know this part of me, because I'm going to ask you in a minute, how else does this show up? But because I don't think I'll cover it all, but here are my thoughts on it. It's where we judge ourselves, others, and the world. It's where we criticize ourselves, others, and the world. It's where we worry about things. Our ears are too big, our brain is too small, right? Our false self has our fears and our doubts. It can't. Our false self can't. Because, and it has a huge list of why. Because I can't do, fill in the blank, because there is a filing system in our false self that will come up with so many logical, reasonable reasons why you can't do whatever. Is this kind of ringing? Mm-hmm. Good. The false self is also, on the other side of it, a relentless and unsatisfied overachiever. The false self is constantly seeking for more, but never finding it. Constantly grasping for the next thing that will make me happy, but never actually finding it. So the false self is the seeker, and this is a little teensy-weensy bit touchy, so let's just unpack this a bit. In our beautiful Science of Mind teachings, in our New Thought world, we absolutely believe in being clear about intention, setting that intention, seeing that intention complete, visualizing, etc., etc. Yes, very important, really important. The seeker part of the false self does that, but to an extreme that this moment is never good enough because there's always this out there, right? To see the difference? So the seeker is, life will be good when I get there, not life is good now. And because of that, we never get there. The seeker, the false self, never actually gets there. So you see that distinction? Mm-hmm. Yes, say yes to me if that's true. Good, and thank you for saying it even if it wasn't clear. I appreciate that because I need to move on, right? The false self is also the grasper of the past. Maybe there was something really great in your past. I can relate to the grasper right now. Something really great was in your past. You had an amazing accomplishment. You had something beautiful in your life. You did something awesome. And then it changed. Because we know this world is impermanent. There is the only, what are there 3 things we can rely on in this world? What are they? Death, taxes, and change. Yeah, actually, it's just death and taxes, right? But change. Things change. Nothing is going to stay the same. And sometimes we want to grasp for what was. I understand that right now, particularly with having just lost my, soulmate of 30 years. I want to go back. I don't want him to be gone. I want him to still be here. I want to grasp back there. But that's the false self reaching back for what is no longer. So the other thing the false self does, so it seeks, it grasps, and I like this one too because I can relate to it. It likes to control the moment. Anybody relate to that one? It wants to control the moment. Yay, let's control. All right. Therefore, it does not like the unknown. Oh, no. The false self does not like the unknown. It wants to know exactly what's going to happen now, and then, and then, and then, and then. Yeah, absolutely. I want it all. Got it. I want it all figured out. The other thing, the final thing I want to say about it, and then I'll get your quick feedback on it, is the false self believes to be true everything it hears and even everything it feels. Well, you should be able to trust your feelings. Oh, no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. So what else about false self? Give me a couple other things that I haven't hit that it might. Ego, the ego gets very involved when the false self is running the show? Fear, good, thank you. Attachment, yep. Lack of trust. It could. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes anger can be very healthy to release, but holding on to anger, yes. Expectations. You guys know this well. Good. Yeah, good job. Good job. Let's see if we can do this with the other ones also. All right, so let's go to the other end. So we're doing a little polarity here. So the false self hangs out over here. That is the one where the handbrakes live. Then on the totally opposite side of the spectrum, there is our infinite self. That's what we talk about all the time here. This book is full of conversation about our infinite self. It is the self that is one with the one, that is in unity with the whole. In this looks like just like a Bible, doesn't it? I could like pound on, I could thump the Bible. It is a Science of Mind textbook, but it does look like a Bible. I love that. I'll bring my Bible out next time. So this infinite self is beyond time and space. It's not this physical body. It is connected to all that is. In this infinite self, there is no desire or seeking or grasping because there's nothing to desire. Why is there nothing to desire in infinite self? Because everything already is. There's nothing that needs to be desired because everything already is in the infinite self. I have two quotes from Ernest out of that textbook, one from page 323. There is one infinite mind from which all things come. This mind is through, in, and around us. It is the only mind there is, and every time we think, we use it. There is one infinite spirit, and every time we say, I am, we proclaim it. There is one infinite substance, and every time we move in it. There is one infinite God, and every time we speak to this God, we receive a direct answer. One. Talk, live, act, and know that you are a center in this one. Limitless power in this one. We are of it. Ernest Holmes also said, and it was recorded in the book Love and Law, there is one, not two. Never forget that. Anywhere in the universe, just one. That one life is the substance of everything. It is one in unity, but multiple in manifestation. I love that part. It is one substance from which an infinite variety of different things come, but every one of those things is made out of the one thing. We, as our authentic selves, the third one, are individualizations of the one. We are the multiplicity in the one. At the level of your authentic self, that's where your heart's desire lives. That's where your gifts and talents reside. That's where your joy, your juiciness, your badass self lives as your authentic self. Your authentic self delights in living. And it tells you the truth about who you are. It tells you the truth about who you are. And if you really listen to it, you know that it's the truth because you feel it. You feel it at your core. You get a sensation in your body if you really listen to it that says, yes, that is true. That other stuff that I'm hearing, that's the false self. That is not true. It is the open receiver of all your good because it's not bound by limiting beliefs and doubts. All that infinite good that is ever available in the infinite self comes into you and into your experience as you live from your authentic self. Does that make sense? So everything available at the level of infinite self comes into your tangible, human, physical, badass life when you're living from your authentic self. It validates you, it's proactive, it causes divinely inspired action. Talk to me about what else your authentic self is. You came up with a lot for, yeah, I heard it. What was it? Love. It is love and only love. What else? It is truthful. Capital T, lowercase t. Truthful. What else? It's integrous. Ooh, love that word. Love it, love it. It's creative. Thank you. Say it again. Caring. Joyful. Peaceful. It's just happy. It's the infinite self in expression as me. Yes and no. Yes. The way I'm looking at it is our authentic self is this individualized human manifestation of that infinite expression. It is perfect, whole, and complete. Let me tell you, I love everything you guys said. That's perfect. Here's the deal. When we think about, we've all seen science fiction movies or even watched real things about space travel. There's the docking station, there's home base, right? There's home base, and then the pod goes out, and then it comes back, and there's like a tractor beam, and then the pod locks in, right? It docks in. That's how I look at this. Infinite self is this infinite. Authentic self, it clasps in, it locks in. When that happens, that's exactly what you're talking about. When that locks in, false self leaves the building. Elvis has left the building. The false self cannot hang out when the authentic self is docked in to the infinite self. So I want to read you a quote from our great book. We spend our lives drifting between glimpses of our own infinite glory and the fear that not only are we totally incapable, unworthy, lazy, and horrible, but that it's only a matter of time before someone blows the whistle on us. We torture ourselves incessantly. And for what purpose? If we can glimpse the glory, and I know you can, why do we waste our precious time giving any energy to any other option? Wouldn't life be so much more fun, productive, and sexy if we fully embraced our magnificently delightful selves? I'm going to change that because I love to change things. I'm going to change that last sentence to say, wouldn't life be so much more fun, productive, and sexy if we fully embraced our authentic selves? I say yes to that. Do you say yes to that? Yes. Good. So let's do that. Let us do that right now. I want us to take a couple of minutes to bring our authentic self into the docking station of the infinite self and let the false self leave the room. So let's do that by closing our eyes. And Paul's going to give me some docking station music. So we just take a deep breath. We bring ourselves fully present to this moment. Fully present to that which we have experienced here. Thoughts that have been stimulated, ideas that have been planted, awarenesses that have been brought to the surface, rememberings that have occurred. And know that all is welcomed here. Wherever you are on that continuum of false self to infinite self, it's welcomed here. You are loved here. But just for the next few moments, I want you to have a bit of an internal dialogue with your false self. And the first aspect of the false self that I want us to look at is the seeker. The one who just wants to jump out into the future and wants the future to be this way or that and sees it and envisions it and maybe gets excited about it, but is really, really honestly in fear that it's not going to happen, that you're not worthy of it, that you can't do it. that life doesn't support you in doing that because you've had evidence to that fact. Just want you to be with that seeker mind for a moment. And with love and care and no judgment, just see where you hang out there and how you hang out there. And what that's like to be there. Feel what it feels like to be there. It may not be comfortable, and that's okay. Just let it be uncomfortable just for a couple of minutes. And then ask your seeker mind if it would be all right if you left it for a moment. You can always come back, but just leave it for a moment. And you're going to go to that grasper mind. That mind that says, oh man, it used to be so much better. I had it going on last year, but not now. I had it so good. Or I accomplished this great thing. I don't know what happened to my magic. Grasping to hold on. Maybe it's to your youth, looks, whatever it might be. Just feel into where you do that. Not judging it, just noticing. Being present for it. Allowing it to be. It's okay if it's uncomfortable. And then ask your grasper mind if it's okay if you leave it for a moment. And move to that controlling mind. That mind that wants to say exactly how it should be and will be. That wants to know the outcome of everything before you take a step in that direction. That wants people to behave in this way or that. Just notice, without judgment, where your controlling mind, which is an aspect of the false self, wants to kick in. And just notice in your body if that feels expansive or restrictive. And now ask your controlling mind, that aspect of the false self, if it's okay if you leave it for right now. And if it says yes, then come with me to the place in you that is not a seeker, that is not a grasper, that is not a controller. That place in you that is simply here, that simply is. This is your authentic self. This is the self that in this moment, all is well. Recognize that in this authentic self, you are an open receiver of all the good, love, joy, peace, happiness that your heart desires. And just notice how it feels to be in this moment of being your authentic self. With your unique gifts and talents, hopes and dreams. Your own individual badass life. And then take that one step out, one step beyond, and envision, see, and most importantly, feel yourself, your authentic self, as one with the one. Merged, docked into the infinite self. And in that there is no desire because it's already done. In that there is no want because it already is. In that there is only the love, the light, the truth, the peace, and the power of the divine. And in this place, I leave you with these words from our beautiful, irreverent, And right on, book of the month. You are perfect. To think anything less is as pointless as a river thinking it's got too many curves, or that it moves too slowly, or that its rapids are too rapid. Says who? You're on a journey with no defined beginning, middle, or end. There are no wrong twists and turns. There is just being. And your job is to be as you can be. This is why you're here. To shy away from who you truly are would leave the world you-less. You are the only you there is and ever will be. I repeat, you are the only you there is and ever will be. Do not deny the world its one and only chance to bask in your brilliance.